Hey everyone, this is Pig for Life, and today I'm doing a video review of Fans Toys FT-03 Quakewave, the Ed Bomber, now known as ToyDojo exclusive. And this is an exclusive for this particular vendor, ToyDojo. They came out a couple years ago of the original Quakewave mold, and it's a recolor that is an homage to the Radio Shack version of Shockwave from the days of yore, which came out as a dark gray color, and you can see that immediately on the packaging. So let's go ahead and jump right in, because it's going to be a pretty long review in comparison. So as you can see on the front, you do get this nice gray image. It's the same packaging essentially as the original Quakewave with this recoloring of the artwork, and he also has the red eyes and the red cannon here. Taking a look at the rest of the packaging, the packaging is pretty simple. All the sides kind of have the same thing, just says Quakewave FT-03. Same thing here with some choking warnings, and the bottom as well. So nothing too spectacular on the sides. On the back, we do see some images of the robot mode, the alt mode, as well as some smaller images showing the articulation, saying it's highly articulated, LED lighting, have die-cast parts, and wait, there's more. Well, there's no more on the packaging, but there is more to the figure. This is actually slightly different in the sense that compared to the original package, it's just a black and white version. There are no new product photos or anything like that. Overall, the packaging is quite nice for an item, a third-party figure that came out a couple years ago. I think the quality of boxes has gotten a lot better over the past. I mean, the Warbotron boxes are phenomenal. Even Quakewave Advanced Toys boxes for the new releases are nicer than this one. It's nice thick cardboard, it's just not really high quality. And real quick, just to do a comparison with the original Quakewave box, again, you can see the artwork's the same design. The only difference again is color differences used on the image. And on the back, again, the same exact back, except they made it black and white, and it has a little bit of purple on the background as opposed to this kind of blue hue. But overall, not very different. Coming around to the front again, one of the nice features that this has is a Velcro enclosure that opens up so that you can see Quakewave in this nice display window. Again, another product image and a nice line art on the left of Quakewave. So this is great for mint and seal box collectors who still like to view their figures. To get them open, you just cut the Fans Toy branded tape and you pull open from the front. So if you guys saw my Kronos review, it's very similar. This is the easiest way to get them out, and I think this is the way it's designed to get them out. And then you just pull out the clamshell. Let's get them off to the side. And what's included is the manual, which is exactly the same as the regular release. Same purple, no differences there. We get some extra arm pieces, and these are the arm pieces that came out in the later runs with Quakewave that allow you to modify his left cannon arm so that it can actually swivel, so that in robot mode you can have it the wire, the cable going to the under part of his arm, while in robot mode, in alt mode and gun mode, it will you can rotate it back so that it's sitting at the top of the gun. And that's really it for packaging. You just open up this clamshell to get everything out. You do get Quakewave. He's not fully transformed, and we'll get him transformed properly first. And comes with a backpack, which also is used for his alt mode as the tip of the barrel. And he comes with this bio card as well, stat card as well. Let's see if I can focus in a bit on that. So comparing it to the original Quakewave's stack card, there is a difference. So the not only is it recolored, it actually loses these grid lines that are on the original card, but otherwise exactly the same. Again, black made so it is colored black and white, but same product photos, no new photos there. All right. So zooming back out, let's get this guy into proper transformation. So there's a couple things. The first thing we'll do is deal with the backpack. So the backpack comes in this kind of rectangular form. What it does is you come up to the back, you lift up this flap where the cable is attached, and you plug in this these pegs into the slot here. And this should go straight in without much issue. And then you close the flap back up, it kind of pegs into place, and you fold the, I guess, reticle piece, or the sight, we'll call it the sight, back up. And then we have him, in good shape there. And then at the bottom, you just have to pull out the feet forward. These are die cast, and then use these little tabs here to pull out the heels, which are also die cast. And there you have them. Now this is his proper robot mode. So if we can get him all in frame without being too far away. And he looks fantastic, guys. If you don't know Quakewave from Fans Toys, this is their real first release. FT-01 was kind of a trailer for the Masterpiece MP1 Optimus Prime. And then their second figure was supposed to be a Masterpiece Soundwave, which got canceled because of the Takara Tomy Hasbro one that came out. So they canceled that one, which was FT-02, and then they actually just kept on with the numbering system to get Quakewave, which is the Masterpiece Shockwave, or not Shockwave. And he looks awesome. If you guys hear about, read, lists of favorite Transformer figures, whether they're, any Transformer figure or third party, this guy typically is very close, if not the top of the list. Definitely on Masterpiece, in terms of Masterpiece scale, but even just in general third party figure, he always tops the list of pulls and threads, and for good reason. He looks awesome. I think he has a really good representation of the figure. And I think the Fans Toys just did a really great job with the overall quality. The plastic is really sturdy, probably the sturdiest of any figure that I own, all across. There's a good use of die cast in the toes and the leg parts here, and even the thighs here and the shoulder pieces, which look metallic. I actually don't know if they're metal or not. They're probably just a really hard plastic because they're not cool to the touch, but they're so robust that I'd be really surprised that if this was just plastic, because it just doesn't feel like plastic. Anyway, looking at the figure from the front, you can see he's a really great representation of Shockwave. Some people complained again about the cable coming to the front, which is not kind of accurate to the original toy, which we'll take a look in comparison at later. But let's look at him from all around. So here's the front, here's the side. He has a little bit of that backpack, but he had a backpack in the toy as well. And then from the back, pretty clean overall. Just this kind of piece sticks out, and you have the I guess plastic piece that makes out the front of the barrel in gun mode. And the other side here with his left arm that's a cannon. And back to the front. This color obviously is the dark gray. Again, this is a ToyDojo exclusive. ToyDojos did sponsor this review and sent this over, and I'm really glad they did it. I really have wanted this one for a long time, even though it's not, you know, totally G1 in the sense that it's not the cartoon accurate color, but I really wanted it. I'm so glad they sent it over because I think this is actually my favorite of the two. Let's take a look at the head sculpt real quick, which it's hard to even call it a head sculpt because it's just a head and then kind of an eye. But if you look inside, there's actually some more detail there around the eye, which is kind of hard to see. But a nice red LED, that is an LED in there that you can turn on. And that works with a switch on the back. And you do have to install batteries in this guy. You have to, I believe it's the LR66. I may be mistaken on that. I'll have to check again. But the batteries, you just unscrew these two screws, Phillips screws in the back, and then pull the head apart, and then there's a slot where you put the battery in. It's a tight fit, but it's pretty quick and easy. And then you just put the head back together, and you're done. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not LR66. It is a CR1025 or CR1020. Either of those sizes will work, and both of those, both the hand and the head use that size. All right. The cannon itself is on a separate switch and LED, which is also red. And the way you install that is you go on the inside here and unscrew these, well, just unscrew this one, Phillips head, and pull this out and then put it in. You will find that the instructions are incorrect. It tells you which side is positive and which side is negative. That's actually what they instruct you to do is actually the opposite. So just be aware of that. So you will have to buy batteries from that, but I think you can just grab them at the dollar store or Dollar Tree or whatever you have near you for, you know, $1 for a couple of them. Very easy to install. I might do a separate video to show those installations. But getting back to the robot review, he looks great. And just to do some comparisons, let's get him to the side. And the first comparison I'm going to do is with G1 Shockwave. So you can see they take a lot of design cues. The chest, the head, the little crest pieces on the head, his little ab area below the chest area here. His shoulders are very similarly shaped, even with this little thing that comes out just on the one side on the original figure. Again, design cues from the abs. The legs are probably the most different in the sense that these are obviously very super thin, due for transformation, and these are nice and thick and obviously look tons better proportionally. The legs, some people complain about the legs being not really the same in terms of the curved look. I don't mind that. I'm not a diehard G1 fan in the sense that everything needs to look as close as possible as the original toy design. I love modernizations, and Fans Toys is particularly good about that. If you've been following their Diebots, their Masterpiece Dinobots, I think they call them Iron Diebots. They are also really great takes that merge the designs from the toys and cartoons and modernizes those. So I like that personally. I don't need them to be exactly the same. And again, they both have the backpack. So looking at the cannon, this is where I was saying that people were asking for the Fans Toys to make the change. This cable goes from the back to the lower back of the arm. This one goes to the front. These pieces that are included came after, and I think in the second and third run of the original Quakewave toy that allowed you to do that. And I'll have a separate video showing the installation of that and those these red pieces if you want to change to the red hand, fist, and gun. Alright, the next comparison I'll do is just move this guy to the back, is bring in the original Quakewave, FT-03, and his purple color. I apologize, he's probably coming off, it looks like a little blue in my video, and I'm not sure, it might be the new lights I'm using. It's been very hard for a lot of people to capture what he really looks like. He's not blue, he's definitely like a purple, like as close to like a crayon, out of the Crayola crayon box purple as you can imagine. So I apologize that the color reproduction is not great. My new lighting setup, this is the first time I'm using it, so the colors aren't totally right. But even with the colors not being reproduced in my video that well, you can see there's a drastic difference. The original Shockwave was a much darker purple, and I like that darker purple. I wish that they had made the original Quakewave darker purple. If they did, I think I'd like him the most. But as it stands with this dark gray, I actually think this looks a lot nicer overall. I also like the contrast with the red LED as opposed to the yellow one. If they actually merge these two colors, like mix this dark gray and this purple, you'd probably be very close to that original G1 Shockwave purple. The other differences that you see here, same mold, again, just the color differences in some of the plastic. The legs, I think, are about the same. They might be slightly different. This might be more silver, and this might be a little bit more gold. I can't even tell, honestly. It does look like they're slightly different. Really nothing else is different. All the plastic is turned to dark gray as opposed to this pinkish color, and dark gray and black, or not even black, a really dark gray has replaced the purple and the dark purple. The only other difference that you see is this cannon was red, as is this one, but the eyes are different colors. So this one's yellow and this one's red. That's about it. I kind of like that these two match as opposed to the mismatched color here. I kind of would have liked this LED to be yellow, perfectly honestly. So I think overall I like this version better, even though it's not accurate. Some people say that this purple was supposed to be more closely matching of the original Marvel comics. I'm not sure if that's entirely true. I honestly am not a Marvel Comics fan, so that's it for Robot Mode review and comparison. I guess one thing I will mention is some people thought his chest should be a little bit wider as well. You can see just how big the original Shockwave chest is in terms of width. Again, I don't think that's necessary. I think this is really well proportioned. Maybe a little bit wider would have been fine, but I think then you would lose the sleekness of the alt mode, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. So let's go with articulation since we have him in robot mode. He's on a ball joint on the head. He doesn't really go that much forward just because his chest gets in the way. He does go up a bit, and he can do 360 as I showed you earlier to show you the light switch. His shoulders have two hinges. There's one there that goes up and down, and then he has nice ratcheted shoulders joints, which is great, and you can hear them being really clingy, like a tingy sound. That's what makes me think these are metal too, some kind of metal as opposed to plastic. I don't know why. They're not cold again, but it just seems that way to me. The arms are elbows are double jointed, and you can't get it all the way straight, but pretty close. His fist does have a wrist swivel, and each of the fingers, and let me see if I can zoom in enough to get focused enough so that you can see the fists. So each of these fingers is articulated. So the thumb is on a ball joint that comes out. No joint in the thumb itself, aside from the ball joint. But the fingers are individually articulated. And the way they did this is kind of interesting. So the pointer finger and the middle finger are all individual and have two joints. But the ring finger and the pinky finger actually share one joint and then it's just the very tips of the fingers that are individually articulated. I don't know why they did that. I honestly have no idea. It even looks like they're separate, but they are actually together. And this is one of the best kind of hands I've seen on a masterpiece figure. Really sturdy, nice posability. I will say that they feel a little weak, but I've never had them on either figure pop off, which is great. So to the cannon side, there's no articulation on the cannon aside from a sliding mechanism, which is used for transformation into gun mode. So as far as the waist goes, he can go 360. His backpack does not get in the way, really well designed, that it does not get in the way. His legs are on universal joints, and these flaps allow him to split pretty far, not all the way Van Damme style, but pretty close. Forward, he gets nice ratchets going forward, almost 90 degrees, probably 80 degrees. Backwards, he has these flaps that kind of get in the way, and I'm not really sure why. They just kind of get in the way, and they don't really serve a purpose, I don't think. Maybe I'll have to pay more close attention when we're in alt mode, and maybe that will show why. And again, nice ratchets both ways. Well, just both ways this way, and then going out, it's just a hinge. Thigh swivel, upper thigh swivel, knee swivel. Nice knee joint that gets close to 90 degrees. And then the feet. So the feet are do have some ankle tilt, only inwards, not outwards. But the toes themselves are come in two segments that allow you to get some pretty good posability out of this guy. And you can go up, and you can go down, mostly for transformation. And then the heel itself has some posability. It really just goes out straight. Can't go out too much more than straight. But again, this ankle tilt inward does allow him to get some fairly wide stances and still be flat-footed. So pretty good overall in terms of articulation. As much articulation as you would really need in a masterpiece figure, I think, or any figure. I really like his robot mode. All right, so let's go ahead and get him into alt mode, gun mode. We'll do a quick alt to robot transformation. So the first thing you want to do when you want to get this guy into alt mode is go ahead and get this backpack off. And as we showed before, you just flip this up and pull this straight out. There we go. And well, since we have it, what you're going to need to do is split this apart and fold it inside out. And you don't want to peg it together because you'll need to do something else before we get that started. For the back, just flip that straight down and that'll peg in. And you can leave this for now, or if you want to be careful, you can fold it up so it doesn't get in the way. So how I like to start is to start from the bottom, actually. So what I do is go down and start with the feet. Again, same thing we showed before, only in reverse. Flip in the heel first on both sides, and then flip the feet down and the toes in. And they'll go right in there. Very nice and snug. Next thing we'll do is open up these leg panels. So there's leg panels that you open up from the front. And you want to open up so they're open 90 degrees, like so. From here, you're going to want to rotate this entire panel up as far as it can go. And it's not 90 degrees, but pretty far up. And you need to do that and then open it up another 90 degrees. And you need to do it in that order because these heel pieces get away. You can't just go straight into opening up all the way and then and then ratcheting this up. While you have this here, go ahead, this piece up here, pull it out just a tiny bit because it'll be easier to access now than later. The other piece that you need to do is this front kind of shin guard. Just unpeg that. And then you'll see that there's slots here, 2 slots that have corresponding pieces that it kind of pegs into. And nice and clean there. And then lastly, you need to rotate the entire leg at the upper thigh. And you need to do that because that allows it's very clever. They have the hinge on the leg off center so that the post off center so that when you turn it, the legs get closer in. And allows the two legs to peg together. It's really ingenious, actually. Pretty clever. Very simple, but very, very nicely engineered. So same thing with the other side. Open this up 90 degrees. Pull this up all the way. Pull this little piece out on front so you can access it later, and open up all the way. This shin piece, you can just pull that down and on that double hinge and just plug that in so it fills in that part straight. Lastly, rotate 180 degrees at the upper thigh. And here, I believe the instructions say to peg these together before you collapse them, and it does have my dreaded leg collapsing mechanism. But actually, these are really good just because the plastic quality and the figure itself is so strong that I have no fear of breaking anything with this guy. So again, the instructions I believe say to peg the two halves in together first. I still think it's easier to do the legs separately. And some people might be a little bit scared, but I found the easiest way to collapse these is just to use the heel of your hand and give it just a nice sharp hit on the bottom. Not crazy hard, but just enough to get started. So I'll show you. There we go. So it takes a couple tries. And I'm not hitting it terribly hard, but just a little hard. And you can see it's collapsing already. And then you can collapse that all the way up. Oh, now I see why they have that panel here, because that makes it seamless. And again, when you get to all the way top, you'll know it has this nice ringing sound, metal ringing sound. And then you can peg the two halves together. Again, it's hard if you just try to push, but if you just get it started, it's a really smooth mechanism. And then just peg the rest of the leg pieces, which become the handle. Oh, this kind of went in. From here, you can use these two pieces, and they have pegs here that go into slots in his kind of crotch area. You just push it straight up. You can actually leave this down if you want and get kind of a trigger action because there's no trigger built in. You can do that. I think it's kind of silly looking. And so I just do the proper transformation and push that all the way up. That does leave a bit of a gap here, but not terribly bad. A little bit of gap here as well, but we'll look into that a little bit more when we do the alt mode review. All right, so now we're done with the bottom. For the top, we'll deal with the hands first. So just rotate the thumb in and rotate the fingers, close the fingers so it's nice and squared off. And then there's panels on the underside of the arm, which is pretty standard. Rotate that straight in, close it up, and there's a tab that goes into the hand. And when you're there, just rotate the arm all the way up, and you'll see that there's a little elbow piece that actually tabs into this slot on the arm. Just straighten up and it'll go right into place. Just raise the arm at the shoulders as well, because you'll need to get that kind of out of the way to clear part of the transformation. So on the other side, same thing, just rotate it all the way up, straighten it out so that it kind of pegs in, and then have the shoulders go up. The reason why you do that is because you need to open these panels from the side, and you need the arms out of the way to access that, and this flips the chest all the way down. And there's a cavity in there where the head goes. So the head just goes straight in. And you got to make sure that the head's not pointing down or else it won't fit. Just pull it out. So he's looking slightly up, and that just goes in like so. Close it back up, push the tabs close. Pretty simple, right? One thing a lot of people miss is that he does actually have expandable waist that needs to collapse. So just grab both halves and just make sure it's straight and then push down. Very easy, very secure, no fear or feeling of breakage. And now the arms, going up just a little bit, they have tabs on the left arm that go into corresponding slots on the left. just bring the shoulders together like so, and then tab the arms together, and just bring the shoulders in, give them a squeeze so that they actually, they don't tab in the bottom here, but they do get pretty close. There we go. All right, and then you just need to slide the cannon into the middle, which is kind of clever. All right, before we put the last piece on, you do need to rotate this whole piece back, like so, and then raise the, so there's the eyepiece, but there's also this cylinder. This cylinder actually rotates itself. So what you're gonna need to do is rotate it so that the gray part lies flat. So don't grab it by this piece, because otherwise you're gonna move that piece and you could, stress it. Just rotate it all the way down, and that way this is facing up. And if you want, you can lower this eyepiece as well. I keep it up. And then lastly, coming back to this backpack piece. This is pretty simple, but it can get a little complicated. So you didn't tab it closed because you do need this clear smoke gray. You need to fold that up because that forms the front of the gun, and you want to wrap it around so it's not a rectangle. It's kind of I guess an octagon, a squished octagon. And you're going to want to peg this together, but before you do that, there's slots here and here and here. So there's the smoke piece, plastic piece will go slot in here, and then there's corresponding, let's see if I can get that to focus. There's corresponding tabs on the top and bottom of the gun that the top will fit into here, like so, and it doesn't peg in tightly, it just slots in. And then you wrap the pieces around so that the bottom slots here will go into the corresponding slot down there. And then you gotta peg the two halves together. So it sounds complicated, it's just hard to describe, but once you see it, you'll see how easy it is. And this is Quakewave in alt mode or gun mode, and he looks great. He looks like a futuristic kind of gun. Very nice homage to the original gun. Again, no trigger. I wish the handle were a little bit longer, and there are some hollow pieces, gaps here and here, but overall not bad. The other piece here, I wish they might have covered this up, but it's not terrible. But from the side, pretty good. This piece is kind of showing a lot, but it's not too distracting. Nice molded details. You can see molded detail here, all the way at the top. Pretty clean, not a lot of screw holes, and the ones that are, they're pretty minimal. There's only 5 here. The front looks great, and again, the switch on the bottom where the arm is on the left arm, you can turn that on, and you get a nice, awesome red light coming out. You do have that molded detail on the eyepiece, so you can see the reticle. So overall, really nice. I don't know that Takara Tomy or Hasbro are going to do a Masterpiece Soundwave anytime in the future that is a gun, just because they've been kind of avoiding that. Toy manufacturers have been avoiding gun-looking toys for a while, especially one that is in realistic colors like a gray. But even still, I think it would be really hard to do that much better than the Fans Toys Quakewave. This cable here, I should note, is an actual wire. It's not just, tubing or anything like that. It is actual wire. It doesn't connect anything. It's not actually hooked up to anything. But it is an actual wire, and it's pretty sturdy. So it's not made of rubber, so it shouldn't suffer from the cracking that the original G1 toy had. I think this looks like it came pretty much straight out of the cartoon or comic. Very clean lines too. There is some gap where the arms are. They probably could have done something to fill that up. I don't think it's terrible though, and unless you're looking at it from the top, which you probably aren't going to be doing a lot of, it looks good. There are some people who have created stands that allow you to peg this guy in or something, sold on eBay. If I find the link, I'll put it in the description as well. But again, I think this guy looks really awesome, guys, in alt mode as well as the robot mode we saw before. I'm not going to do a comparison in this mode just because it's the same thing, just purple. Actually, give me 1 second and I'll transform my original G1 toy and we'll do a comparison with that figure. Okay, and we're back. So bringing in my G1 Shockwave, which is not in good condition. You can see in terms of size, they're about the same size. The G1 version might be a couple millimeters longer, but not much. Pretty similar in terms of width overall. In terms of handles, about the same length. I do wish there was a trigger here. That would be nice to have, just because I don't know. I'm a kid at heart. I still like to go pew pew and have that going on. But again, very nice homage overall to the original figure. And again, if you had the bigger chest, you can see this one bulges out in the middle. And maybe you would like that just to have a little bit of difference. But I think the slimmer straight lines look more realistic, more futuristic. Alright, let's go ahead and get him transformed from robot to alt mode and then finish off with final thoughts as usual. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and split this barrel piece, flip this down, and then you can go ahead and turn this inside out, peg it in, and turn it into a rectangle and set it off to the side for now. For the rest of the figure, we're going to just really go in opposite. We're going to go ahead and pull this cannon back to the left, split the arms. You want to bring them down partially, but again, you need to get that clearance in arm for the tabs here. So just open the tabs up on either side, pull that down, and then you can reveal the head. Come on. I don't know why it's getting kind of stuck today. Come on. Hold on, let me try something. Let me extend the abdomen first and see if that helps. Oh, that helps. So go ahead and, if you do that, I guess I was doing it out of order. Go ahead and extend the abdomen first with a slight tug. And then once you have that, you can go ahead and pull the panel on the hand, forearm out, so you can put the hand out, close that up, then you can rotate at the shoulder to bring this down. Okay. Now going back to the lower body, we're going to go ahead and split in the middle, because again, I think this is much easier overall to do. Pull that out the way and just split the legs. Man, these are nicely tightly pegged in. There we go. And then we're gonna, oh, I know why. I'm stupid. So you need to unpeg these crotch piece, that piece that plugged into the crotch, and that will allow you to unpeg. Be careful about that. You don't want to damage the figure. I'm glad I caught that before I did too much stressing. And then you're going to want to pull the legs out and down. This does take a little bit of force. There we go. Just jiggle it a little bit. And be careful, don't, this is on a hinge, even though it's really sturdy and thick plastic. Just make sure that when you're dealing with pulling the legs out, you don't rely too much on holding that. Just hold it at the waist. Oh man, this guy's really tough for some reason, the one leg. Hold on, I'm gonna go off camera real quick, which I hate doing, but I'd rather not waste time. There we go. Sorry, it's hard to do this in front of the camera just because of the leverage you need. Very sturdy. I didn't feel like I was going to break anything. Again, at the upper thigh, you're going to want to rotate that all the way around. We'll just do that for both legs at this time, and then deal with each leg one at a time. So again, because of these pieces here, you have to do kind of a weird transformation going back. So first, let's go ahead and bring these panels up and peg them in. You usually have to do a little bit of finagling to get these pieces in. Do both sides while you're at the front so you don't forget. I always forget for some reason. So you're gonna want to pull this halfway like so, or 90 degrees. Rotate that as much as you can, but you can't get all the way down because of the fact that this heel piece gets in the way. So you're gonna still have that gap here. You're gonna close it up as much as you can, and then get one more push backwards, and that's it. And then you can tab everything in place. Same thing with the other side. So rotate 90 degrees. Rotate this piece down as far as you can, which is about here. Close it up as much as you can, leaving that gap. Come around, push this back once, and then you can tab everything in. All right, close these hip flaps. I don't know why they were open. Lastly, come down to the feet as we've shown from the beginning of the video. At the beginning of the video, just pull the toes out and then get the heels out. My left heel's always pretty tight. And you can loosen this up a bit. There are screws on the inside of the leg that you can access here. Let me try to get that on the heel that you can access, and you can loosen that up a bit if you'd like. All right. Coming around to the back, again, you're going to want this peg hole to go in there, and to do that, again, rotate this entire cylindrical piece all the way down until it stops. And that will give you the clearance you need to fold this up. Open up the flap, stick this one, the longer peg, not the peg with the smoke gray piece, plastic piece, clear piece. Plug that in straight into the back. There we go. Close the flap. Push this up and it lies flat. And then we have Quakewave, the ToyDojo exclusive version, back in robot mode. Again, I love the transformation because it's fairly simple. It has great engineering though. Again, I think I really like Vans Toys. They're my favorite of all the third party, even though they only have really 2 figures out. But I think their engineering is really clever and not too complicated. It makes transformation enjoyable, but not, you know, overly complicated and frustrating where you're like looking at instructions all the time. So final thoughts. On Quakewave overall is he's a must-have. If you don't have him, you need to get him if you're a Masterpiece collector or you're a Shockwave fan. Or honestly, I just can't think of why somebody would get this and not like him, aside from people who are really into just a certain scale that's not Masterpiece. He looks great overall in both modes. Articulation's great. I love the extra features with the gun and the LED in the gun and the head. I love the fact that they included this later on in the original color, as well as included in this ToyDojo exclusive. Again, I'll show this in another video, a separate video. But yeah, if you don't have them, definitely get them. This toy is going on almost 3 years old now, I think. But the original, the purple one here, has gone up phenomenally in price in the aftermarket, the secondary market. I think I've seen him go for over $300 for a used one. Probably a bit more for a mint and seal box version. And while I think that the figure itself is great, I just have a hard time justifying that price because he's not complicated. And mostly just because of the fact that when I got him, when we first came out, he was less than 200 bucks. I think I got him for like 150, brand new, about a year ago, this guy. So trying to pay $300 for him, or even, you know, $250, I think is a lot to just be asking for someone that came out under 200 bucks. That said, is he worth it? If I was desperate, would I definitely get him? Probably. That said, I do like this version better overall, even though he's not, again, G1 accurate in terms of color. I think the cohesiveness of the look of black and the red, who doesn't like black and red? He just looks awesome like that. I think it looks overall better than the weird purple that they used. If they used, again, the original darker purple that's G1 accurate, I think that'd probably be the best one, my favorite one, and who knows, they may be doing something like that in the future. But this guy is still available at ToyDojo. They do free shipping of orders of $150 or more. I know there's limited quantities left. This guy was exclusive, only, I believe, 500 figures made, and I know he has less than, I believe, 100 left at this point. So I think you should grab him if you don't have the original Quakewave, because I don't know if they're going to do a reissue of the purple color. But I think he's definitely a must-have for a Masterpiece collection. I don't think Hasbro's going to do one anytime soon. So this is, and again, I don't think they're going to do much better than this guy, even if they come out with one. So my recommendation is a buy. I wouldn't wait too long. Again, limited quantity of this color left. The other one is in high demand, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it would be really settling if you got this version, just because he is such a nice figure and he has such a nice deco that I would not be ashamed to have this one as being my only Quakewave or Shockwave in my display. So if you like this figure and you want to purchase them, go ahead and click on the link in the description below, and go ahead and head over to ToyDojo and pick one up for yourself. If you guys have any questions about Quakewave, either this original guy or the ToyDojo exclusive, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you like the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it with some friends. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. I love the encouragement. And if you guys have time, check out my new website at pigforlifereviews.com or my Facebook page, Pig for Life Reviews. All right? With that, guys, I think we're done here for today. I hope you guys have a good one.